Hi, Riddhi. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. So nice to see you. Happy as in, I'm audible.
Yeah, very much, very much.
Okay, great, great. So I see a lot of people joining in, so we'll start shortly. So thank you
No
so
problem.
much. It's raining heavily in Mumbai.
Absolutely. I mean, it's people. Somebody asked me on Instagram that how it is. It is raining. I said no. It cannot be said raining. It is pouring. In fact, it's very heavy.
I know. Yeah, but I like rain, so yeah. But till it is in limit.
I understand. I absolutely understand that. How have you been?
Oh, absolutely wonderful. Was very excited and looking forward to see you. You've been so inspiring always. So
Oh
we'll
goodness,
just give.
I have got I've got a performance pressure now.
No, you are incredible in real itself, so you need not, do anything, So, but thank you so much for taking your time on a busy, rainy day. Yeah.
Anytime.
So let's begin, and I welcome you, a very, very warm welcome to you and our dear listeners. I'm
Thank
absolutely honored to have you today, and I just can't wait to discuss about so much you have accomplished. You being a child psychologist, entrepreneur, TEDx speaker, and above all, a supremely humble human being. So thank you very much, Riddhi, to
thank you. Thank you
take
for
out this
inviting me,
time,
Abhrekha.
and I'm sure to all listeners that every line you speak, it has some essence, and it will be very inspiring, and they'll be relatable because Riddhi has an extensive experience of dealing with people, children, their ideologies, their challenges, and she's a beautiful human being. And without me much saying, we'll hear from her in short while. But before that, those of you who don't know Riddhi much, I'll try to summarize. Little bit about her. She is a qualified child psychologist. She's a parenting counselor. She's a mental health practitioner. She's a TEDx speaker and an advisor to 16 TEDx clubs. She is recipient of multiple awards, including national awards and Young Entrepreneur Award. She is founder of Lajja, which is a very famous women group, and it's India's first forum for women who focuses on women development, growth, and empowerment in real sense. Riddhi is also a qualified trainer and has conducted multiple training programs for corporates, individuals, educational institutes, and NGOs, and have touched multiple lives. And the list will go on and on of your achievements and accomplishment, but this is what I could summarize. And last but not the least, she is a very well-known advocate for mental health awareness and has also the distinction of conducting the very first online roundtable conference to discuss the recommendations of NEP 2020 and submit a white paper on the churnings from the same to the Ministry of Education. So I think it's a huge accomplishment, Riddhi, and I think all parents like us would be benefited because whatever I heard about NEP, it looks appealing. So I'm sure the way the current education system, I think with NEP coming in would definitely change, and you have given your perspective, so I'm sure the better things for us there.
Thank
So
you. I'm humbled with such a lovely, detailed introduction. Thank you so much. Thank you.
so if you wanted to say a few lines before we start with the regular question
Yeah,
answer.
I'm absolutely. I don't think I need to add anything, but I'm looking forward to some wonderful time with you and all the people who've joined. And let's talk.
Absolutely. So Riddhi, you, as I said, you are famous being a wonderful human being, but you are more famous because of your initiatives, which touch multiple thousands of lives in a very beautiful way. I would like to know about your initiatives, Lajja, Ryan's Academy. What are these initiatives and how did your journey start?
So, how my journey started, I would say for every big thing that has happened in my life, it has started with a small soch. In fact, my first TEDx talk was also, and small things make huge differences. So, RIN started when I was 19, and I just wanted to do something which my father was doing. He was into business, and I felt that okay, if you want a chauffeur-driven car, you need to have business, and that's how I started Rinse. It had lot of ups and downs because when I started, I was just 19. So, and I'm a very petite person, so I'm just 5'3", and that time I was very skinny also. So people, that trust issues always happen. That एक बच्चा क्या सिखाएगा किसी को? But that was a journey. Then came Lajja. So Lajja is somewhere the thought was seeded long back while I was, yeah, meeting a lot of people, understanding. जब मैं रिंस के लिए garden जाती थी, parents को बोलती थी that please send to our workshops, please आप करिए, भेजिए, हम इनको value सिखा रहे हैं. And I used to see a lot of mothers and all, but I used to see कि mothers पूछे नहीं हम क्या पापा से बात करके बताएंगे. So that validation, that permission for everything what mothers say was something which was very surprising for me because I come from a background which is wherein our parents, we have seen as a couple, they had given a lot of non-judgmental space to each other and to we also, 4 daughters. And we could talk, we could express anything and everything with our parents, which I found it missing in a lot of families, and a lot of homes. So Lajja's thought was seeded long back. We started in 2015. But पहले से वो सोच तो थी that I wanted to have something wherein women don't think twice before talking, sharing, or don't feel themselves as judged, because after all, everybody in life needs acceptance, acknowledgement, and appreciation. So Lajja focuses on 3 A's of life, basically.
Absolutely. So that's what you never planned, but I think it organically happened. Good people started connecting with you, and they
Yes.
realized the value. They became more aware. I totally agree. Now parents have still become a little more aware, which was not there before, and they
Absolutely.
believe that.
Not for Rinse, not for Lajja also, because when Lajja started, we were just 2 of us. We
Okay.
started in a workshop way, and from there to now 69,000, it's a long journey we had. It's a journey for sure. And we as Team Lajja also have created a lot of memories. So I always say Team Lajja because I might have found it, I'm saying because I'm the founder, but that doesn't work unless you have a team who believes in your motto, who believes in the vision you have seen, who has a mission as the one which you have. Then only anything can succeed. So
You
I
rightly
always, yes,
said. Yeah.
Team Lajja works.
It's a teamwork. It's basically the outcome
Absolutely.
of an incredible teamwork, and you're setting that example,
Absolutely.
Riddhi. And the best thing is that you started alone, and today you have the whole world with you. So amazing work. And as
Yes.
I'm saying, your work is speaking volumes, and you're
Yes. So
ever inspiring.
we are 19 people driving the whole show, and we are so spread out that sometimes we even don't meet in person. तो अभी एक दो जन को हम मिले ही नहीं है, but we are working together. So they stay so far, but we are connected.
So that is because your goal is, you all are goal oriented. You all work towards the same goal, the same
Absolutely.
zeal and same diligence. So great work. That's one of the greatest examples of teamwork. And to all the listeners also, that if you believe in doing something and your work speaks volumes. And Riddhi is one big example that in such short span she has reached heights, because whatever she did was intended with purity, and it was a very honest effort, Riddhi, and we all are very, very proud of you and
Thank
thankful
you
for
so
all
much.
those initiatives which spread so much happiness and knowledge all around.
Thank you,
But
Abhrekha.
I,
Thank you.
I yeah, so I understand it was something which you always thought of doing, and it 2015 where you started and all that. But obviously these last 2 years of pandemic specifically has changed a lot of things, maybe your plans and the way you wanted to execute perhaps. But now what was something different you did in pandemic, or what learning did you learn and now you are putting in your initiatives? Because we don't know what is there tomorrow, right? Something like that. And not much planning works because we don't know about tomorrow. So
Absolutely.
what was the learning from pandemics, and how are you putting it, how did you tweak your current initiatives, how did you customize them, and what are more learnings from pandemic which you learned?
So just on a lighter note, what different did I do? I was sometimes working 13 and 14 hours,
Oh,
online. So that was different. I did. Otherwise, I've never worked so many hours, like 12 to 12, 13 hours in a day. It was too much to handle. Yes, initially when the pandemic struck, for 15 days, even I was trying to figure out that how do I do counseling online? How do I do therapy online? Or how would we do, even Team Laja started brainstorming that how would we have all the meets and everything online? Because I was supposed to, in fact, I did announce a boot camp for women, and the very second day, pandemic struck, and we had to pull down all the posts and everything because boot camp would never happen. It was lockdown. So we pulled down all the posts from social media, and there was a beautiful bootcamp designed specifically for women at Lajja. It was just a 2-day program, but it was completely hands-on. So everything, every concept changed, every plan changed, everything changed, right? Yes, work had increased so much in my personal space as a psychologist because there were so many cases, so many parents needed help, so many children needed that support. And yes, life has been beautiful, but one lesson what I learned from pandemic is that accept the life as it comes and live life as if it is your last day on earth. You
absolutely.
never know what happens next day, and you are just lost. So आप बहुत temporary हो इस अर्थ पे. एक दिन है आपके पास, जो करना है आज का दिन समझ के करो आप. You certainly plan being an optimist, but don't make 5-year plans. That only works for government, not for us. It is just that live in the present. The future and the past doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter. You don't know, right? So make the maximum use of the day you have got, and make the maximum usage of the moment that you've got. Create memories with your loved ones, because you never know when you lose your loved one. Kabhi bhi. I lost my father during pandemic, and I think he's taught us the biggest lesson for all sisters and everybody, that life is very temporary. So start working and creating memories rather than, kal karungi, parso karungi, next year karungi. No, it won't work. It won't work.
I totally agree. It's like power of now. Enjoy the moment, live the life
Absolutely.
to the fullest, and make most of. There'll never be another me. Make most of myself. Kind of.
Absolutely. So I was always a person who never used to plan big, 5 year or 10 years down the lane. If somebody used to ask me कि 5 साल के बाद तू क्या करेगा, I would say, oh, I don't know, right? Because 1 साल का मुझे नहीं पता होता, 1 साल का तक प्लान करती हूँ, उससे ज्यादा नहीं करती हूँ मैं. Though I was always into that, but then when pandemic struck, I thought it's better. The lesson learned was the live in here and now, live in here and now, and just don't think about anything else. Doesn't work at all.
So we have one question from audience, jeweler designer 2020. I try to read that. It says that what of I regret my past, how to deal with it. So looks like that if something bad has happened in your past, like in any, maybe losing a loved one or a heartbreak or something, or something which didn't work out, perhaps your business, something. So I think the question is that uh, while ideally we know that we should not regret or move on basically, but how do you do this?
Okay. When we say that don't do this, is something which we are reinforcing that yes, go back, relieve, and come back to your to the present. So let's not talk about no approach, but instead I would rather suggest to you, my dear friend, that jewel designer, that what you can do is two options. One, write it on the paper. Okay, whatever you felt, how the incident was, whatever you came across, just write it down on paper. As much as a detailed letter you can write, and address it to you. So it's kind of in a letter format, address the letter to yourself, right? As much as in detail you can write it. Go to the past, relieve the whole situation, come back to the present, right? Tab tak ka pura aap likho, and then go to the washroom and flush it. If you feel that that's not working out for you, go to a therapist and take a 1 or 2 sitting who will help you to shed that past. Okay? And third thing, एक छोटा सा टिप दे रही हूँ जो मैं बहुत बार करती हूँ. Have you ever seen a dog, a donkey, or per se any animal who's walking on the road, and if you've noticed that a car comes and knocks down the animal, or a scooter, or maybe बच्चे बैठा है वो animal, तो बच्चे उसके ऊपर धूल डालते हैं, कुछ भी करते हैं. What does the animal do? The animal might be there for a minute, will get up, shake off body, and start moving. This is the lesson to be learned from there. Just shake off. Holding on to dirt, holding on to memories which is kind of affecting you, doesn't work in life, right? So shake off. Every morning, shake off your body. Put on a music, any loud music, and just shake off. Shake, 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 shake. Whole body shake, and then start your work. You'll feel better. And धीरे धीरे आप अपने past को भूलना शुरू करोगे. But letter लिखना नहीं भूलना, because that is something that will help you to पूरी मोमेंट्स जियो, वापस प्रेजेंट में आओ, और फिर उसको निकाल के फेंक दो. Doesn't work.
Wonderful, wonderful. Even I was reading, few days back that you shouldn't be keeping any grudges or any bad feelings, and whatever it is, whatever happened in the day, at least before the sleep, what you are exactly saying, just shake it off, just take it out of your mind. Don't carry it for the next day, and you'll be burden free, and you start afresh. Because till we are there in our life, these things will happen. The heartbreaks will happen. People may or may not appreciate us. People would break our trust the way Journal Design 2020 is saying. I think it is very human, and it happens with just everybody, you, me, and just everybody, right? It will keep happening. What is more important is that what lessons you learn. So there's another good saying that people come in our life for two things: either they are a lesson or a reason, right? So so that way, so either a lesson or a reason. So just whatever you can do. And obviously I think nothing but time is the healer, right? So, and sometimes you need to leave your ego aside. You may have to understand that in a relationship sometimes you need to adjust, and you need to understand the other's point of view also, and you try to make peace. And you should distract yourself. Yeah.
While we say, Abhrekha, that time is a healer, it's only if you want to heal yourself. Okay, so it's important that you decide that what you want to do it. First you decide, and then everything will fall in place. And when I said it won't work, is holding on to the past will not work. That is something what I meant.
Absolutely, absolutely. We just have to shake off. You said a very
shake off. Easiest way to do it. And it is such a strong therapeutic movement that it works wonders. So अगले दिन भी कुछ हुआ होगा तो मतलब shake off. चलो आज का दिन जियो. That's all.
Wonderful, wonderful. And that is our shake off, not only any grudges, but your worries, your anxieties, your fears and everything. And, just be happy and light, right? Absolutely, Riddhi. So what made you, you're very affectionate and a very approachable person. So what made you passionate about counseling? And I'm sure, as I said, thousands of hundreds of lives, you keep changing and, met so many people. So which was your toughest, case which has come to you, or a toughest child counseling which would have happened and which was very surprising? You could never expect a small child doing that or something like that. So how did you deal with that? And because you're also a human and you have your own limitations, but I'm sure something challenging would have come to you. But how did you deal with that?
So why did I start counseling, or why did I took up counseling as a profession? Something that I learned from my mother. So my mom is a Ayurvedic practitioner, and she had a subject which was child psychology while she was doing her medicine, masters. So she always used to talk and connect with, we are four sisters, and she used to connect in the way we sisters wanted. It was not like one formula for all four. It was different formula for different of all four of us, and the way she used to make us understand the things, it was so simple. And the word child psychology was coming very often in her communication. The second incident that what touched my life was that I was into hardcore trekking before I got married. But even before that, while I was in college, I had been to Ranikhet for trekking. And people have gone for trek, and my knee was paining, so I didn't go that day. I was at the base camp only, and I was just roaming around. That there was a garden, and वहां मैंने देखा कि एक ब्रिगेडियर सर है और उनका छोटा सा बच्चा है. तो वो छोटा बच्चा एक ऐसे प्लिंथ जैसा कुछ था, and हर प्लिंथ पे जाके he would look at his father and say, should I jump? And the father would say, yeah, I'm there now, you jump. And each plinth, and that was the fourth plinth when this guy came, the brigadier sir got a call and he was talking, and this guy was on the fourth plinth. And he saw this father was busy, was about to jump, और मेरे मुंह से निकल के लग जाएगी. Okay? And this brigadier, he immediately turned towards me, he smiled, and he looked at his son, then he said, मैं हूं ना, jump. Okay? And then he taught me the lesson for my life. Trust me on this. He said, young lady, I understand your concern, but I didn't wanted your thought and your statement influence my child. Because आज अगर उसके माइंड में बैठ जाता कि मैं नहीं कर पाऊंगा, वो कभी नहीं कर पाता. उसको डर बैठ जाता हाइट का. And that is the reason I had to cut in, you, and I had to say this. So first, I apologize, but this is something which I had to because I didn't wanted my child to get affected. And that was such a strong lesson. Okay, strong statement and the lesson learned for lifetime, which still stays with me. That whatever you tell your child in the younger age stays with the child forever.
Absolutely.
And that made me so much research and read books on child psychology, and my mother added value to it, and that's how I'm practicing now. And initially, even after getting qualified, I never wanted to have my own practice. I always wanted to have it like I'll work with somebody or school or anything. But again, in 2008, I think my mentor said, no, you have to. And that's how it started, my own practice. And one of the case that still stays in my memory, Abhrekha, is a 17-year-old coming and talking to me about life after death. And
Just
he
17.
felt that, yeah, and he was somebody who was multimillionaire at 17. It's like some 5 years back, I had this case. And at 17, he was a multimillionaire, had made around 2 to 3 applications sold to a company in US, mobile applications, and he was rich. But he never trusted anybody, sorry. And there were no emotions in the child. So if you would smile at the child, there was kind of a plastic smile, it was completely that computer wala smile,
It wasn't real.
temporary, very fake one. And it took me around 5 to 6 sittings to understand what was actually bothering the child, because he was such an intelligent child that he would not come to the point. I would try all my best to probe him, but he would not talk about it till the time he said one statement, and that kind of gave me a clue that, okay, I need to probe on this. He said, I'm such a hopeless guy. So at 17, when he was a multimillionaire, he was so intelligent. He used to talk about being hopeless and life after death. And that was something which kind of helped me to probe in detail and help the child. But yes, I had to take help from my professor who is based in London. And I had to seek his help, because that was something which I was just clueless कि उसको मैं support कैसे करूं, because he was just not giving me any clues at all.
Inspired being so well off and educated, maybe something more deeper which
Can it come to what the brigadier sir taught me? It was the child's father who while the child was in 2nd standard, had told a statement, or said a statement to be more precise. He said that you're such a hopeless child. I expected. And then the series of hopeless words started, and that's how his identity was created.
Amazing. And imagine, being treated like this, still he was able to do so much. Imagine his potential or capability if he would have given a right kind of upbringing,
Absolutely.
or maybe, I'm sure you
Absolutely.
must have done one.
Absolutely. Because many a times parents have a lot of expectations from the children, especially what they intended to do. They could not cope up with it, or probably they did not get enough opportunities. They want their child to complete all their dreams. That's where the gap happens.
And in today's world, parents' expectation, peer pressure is already there. So I think parents should at least now stop, because as it is, I think with the academic pressure and the peer pressures, children are already overburdened. So we as parents, we definitely can't control that stress, but whatever is in our hand, we should do. And I also consciously, being mother of two boys, I also, try to be, I reward their hard work more than the outcome. So I
I
think
think, Abhrekha, but there is, I mean, a lot of parents are now aware and they're very mindful about their behavior or the communication they do with their children.
correct. And children are equally sensitive, and as you said, they understand. They understand, even if you don't speak. Looking at your face expressions, they understand that how mother is feeling, or so I think children are
Absolutely.
very intelligent and sensitive these days, and we as parents should also value their their expressions and their feelings. And it's not that if they are young and we are older, we are always right.
You
That
said
kind of.
it. It's just about respecting the presence of your
Yes,
child. Simple as that. That will solve
correct,
all the purpose.
correct. And so for you, who is your biggest source of inspiration and why?
My father,
Okay.
he taught me lot and lot of lessons in a very simplest manner, simplest way I could have ever thought about. Sorry for this.
No problem.
In fact, that led me to even write a book on him, because I felt that whatever lessons I've learned from him should reach out to the world. People should know, especially parents should know that life is very simple, and take it in a very simplest version. Be very simple, be very grounded, and teach your children also the same values in life.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
I
And
think
I
my first ever inspiration is my father. Second, I would say my mom.
absolutely. I think they are our best friends, and they are the first people whom we come to know. And when you get so beautiful environment, and I think that shows the way you have, been brought up. Your, what do you say? Your all sanskars and the way you treat people. I think that reflects that how you have been treated all your life. So
Yeah.
that's
So it
very
doesn't mean that we didn't had disagreements, the parents and me, but it is all about respecting those
correct.
disagreements and respecting the presence of each other. So that is something which I learned in my family.
Uh, so, as you mentioned, that there must be some disagreements, there will be difference of opinions. Obviously, even if you're a daughter or a sister, you are a different individual, and you have a different frequency of thinking or perhaps doing certain things. So, what are your strategies? Whenever there's a conflict, maybe personally, professional. Now, today, you're leading a so many thousands of people, and you have your own team, and I'm sure there will be some people issues, and managing would have been difficult at personal professional level. So how do you deal with those day-to-day conflicts? What are your strategies and uh, tips to go on during these conflicts and disagreements?
So how do I address a conflict? Yes, conflicts happen day in and out. A, I don't confront.
Okay.
That's not me. So I can't confront, right? And I would not want to get into it. But yes, I would certainly talk it out. I would talk to the person what has hurt me, how it can be made beautiful, or probably how it could have been made simple. Okay. B, I do feel hurt as a human being. I do feel hurt, right? But I believe that if it's the if it's a person who is close to you, the best thing is, instead of doing a no speaking theory and you ignore, it's better to talk it out, and that's always worked for me. Okay, that the other person will understand your perspective if your behavior has hurt somebody, and if something is not worked out, if the other person's behavior has hurt you, the other person will understand what has hurt you as a person, right? So it's very important that you talk it out. B, confronting will not work. That will spoil the relation. It's better that you sit amne samne and finish it. Three, never do backbiting. किसी को जाके बोलने से कुछ फायदा नहीं होने वाला है. So it's better keep it with you. Or you can, if you want to really vent out, then talk to somebody who's really close to you, and you know that that person is not going to discuss with anybody, right? Otherwise, सबसे साथ बात करने से वो ऐसे ही फैलने वाली है unnecessarily.
I understand, because even I believe that, yeah, sometimes we do feel very low and we tend to share with our friends, but at the end of the day, even I realize that no matter you share with anybody, it is ultimately your struggle and your journey, and you have to fight it out. Even if you fall down, it is only you who can, get up and, fight back. That resilience is, the power is within you. So you actually don't need anybody. And obviously, we all have our low points, as I'm saying, but with my experience, I have understood that, while we have friends and family, but ultimately it is our struggle, it is our journey, and it is we who have to understand and have that strength to, fight it back.
Absolutely. So there have been times that I've also written down, I write it. I write it, I tear it, and I flush it. Okay, so as if it's actually going out from my system.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you have a super inspirational journey, and TEDx also happened to you. So how did TEDx happen, and how was your experience there?
TEDx, my first TEDx happened in 2017, and it is so funny that when I received the email, I didn't reply for a month thinking somebody's playing a prank, because मैंने कभी नहीं सोचा था that मैंने कुछ ऐसा different किया है कि I would be invited on the stage. Sorry. So it just came to me, okay? And then later when I accepted the invite, I started preparing. I was so nervous. Because that was my first time ever. And कितनों सारा ने मुझे बहुत सारी चीजें बोल रखी थी, TEDx में ऐसे होता है, वैसे होता है. So I was real nervous. But one thing I understood is, even if you don't go out and talk about your work talks about you as a person. And that happened with me while my first TEDx happened, because they had kind of served around thousands of profiles on entrepreneurs, for entrepreneurs, and out of that 150 were shortlisted. 150 were shortlisted. Out of that they shortlisted around 55. उसमें से 15, और 15 में से हम 2 women थे, मैं और एक YouTuber थी. And that YouTuber kind of fell ill on the day prior to TEDx. So it was just me, only woman among 8 men that day. So if you see the picture also of my first TEDx, it is all men, and I'm the only one standing in the middle. I was the only one on that stage. So they had announced also that this has never happened. They have been having that TEDx since years. It was in Udaipur. And so it was like everything was first, being the only woman on stage, talking about my 3 business, that is my Lajja. Lajja is not a business, but social enterprise, my Rinse Academy, and my Mocktail Gazebo. So for everything, it has been a small thing which has made a huge difference.
Absolutely, absolutely. Wonderful. And as I'm saying, your journey is absolutely inspiring and very beautiful. You just began with small, small things, and now it is speaking volumes.
God has been kind, I must say. God has been kind.
No, God help those who help themselves. So you've been so kind. I think those blessings are coming many folds to you, and we wish you a lot of happiness. But now that you have counseled multiple children, how difficult is to counsel your own child? Just wanted to know that. Because I have seen many school. Why I'm asking you is, I've seen many school teachers sending their children to tuition. You know what I'm trying to say here? Because a mother is different and a teacher is different. So how difficult is to counsel your own child?
So my child has a typical dialogue, okay, he uses. He would come to me and say, I want you to listen as a mother. I want you to listen as a child psychologist. This is
that disclaimer he puts.
Yeah. So I said, okay, I'm wearing the hat of a child psychologist. Now you can speak to me. I will not judge. I will not advise. I will just listen to you. Then he pours his heart out. And as a mother, then he says, okay, you want to tell me something? Then wear a hat of a mother. Okay. I said, no, I'm wearing a hat of child psychologist. So Dhuan and me, Dhwan and I, sorry, Dhwan and I share a very different relationship, I would say. It's like a mother and son, but we share a different bonding altogether. So we create memories each day. मतलब हमारे डायलॉग इतने होते हैं that my husband sometimes think ये कर क्या रहे हैं दोनों जन. कभी भी हम हंसते हैं, कभी भी नौटंकी होती है, कभी भी we'll go in action, have fun. And this guy would come in with towels, my husband, if he is at home. So हम सब कुछ नौटंकी करते हैं, and but yes, we argue also and disagree also. But
Obviously.
both of us, that my little one and me, we've learned one thing, that respect each other. So right from his birth, my husband and I had decided that we need to respect his individuality. So we never, force him to do anything. We suggest, we show him the pros and cons of it, but then we allow him to decide. We show him that till the time he was 10, we used to give him options. ये है. और options what? ऐसे करते थे माहौल that वो options बहुत restricted रहते, but he will feel, oh, I'm getting big options, a lot of options to decide, but वो restricted रहते हैं. From there, now we have changed our strategy when he turned 11, is giving them a lot of more other avenues to think, but we help him understand also that what are the responsibilities of his behavior, whether it is right or whether it's not that right, whether it's appreciated or not that appreciated by the society or by us, but you need to understand the responsibilities. And that's how he is turning into a human being who is real empathetic. So we are loving it. Kabhi aage jaake kuch problem hua to I might seek help from other people. Like I had to teach him sexuality, and he's somebody who just refuses to talk to me. I did send him to one of my friend who is a sexuality educator to his workshop, right? So that he learns at an appropriate age. So this also happens, but abhi tak itna hi aaya hai aur koi problem to aaya nahi hai, touch wood. I hope that it doesn't come also.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what I'm saying. Academics and school teaches different, but what they see is what they learn, right? So they've seen you being so compassionate. I'm sure he'll also be a beautiful human being like you. So we have another audience question by Raki. She's saying her 10-year-old daughter cannot speak properly. What should be done? If you can suggest anything.
10-year daughter, please visit a speech therapist. The speech therapist would analyze and then help you understand what can be done next. Okay? But आपको 10 साल तक राह नहीं देखनी थी. You had to approach a speech therapist long back. अगर बच्चा 4.5 साल तक 4.5 साल तक नहीं बोल सकता है या बोलता है but properly नहीं बोलता है, the first thing is you need to approach a speech therapist and a psychologist. There can be multiple reasons to it, right? So आप please at earliest आपके city में speech therapist है, otherwise a qualified counselor है, तो उसको जाके मिलिए and they will guide you better.
Absolutely, Riddhi. Even I believe the same, because there could be multiple reasons. I have one of my friends whose child was little slow, and she was also worried and showed multiple doctors. And later on, it was like, once he started going to school and started interacting with his friends. So now he speaks non-stop, and now she has to put a a virtual tape on his mouth. So wonderful. I think so Rakhi, you have to visit a doctor. That is very important. Followed by in parallel you can check with a psychologist, because we need to understand the root cause and then resolve it.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Riddhi. While we are running short of time, a quick rapid fire, and you just have to answer in one word. Okay. So what angers you and what gives you hope?
Every morning gives me a hope, and masked faces gets me a lot of anger. That triggers, in fact.
And two things what people don't know about you.
I'm very mischievous and I'm a foodie.
Oh, lovely. A quick advice on self-doubts, how to face rejections.
Go in front of mirror, give a tight hug to yourself and tell yourself, I'm the best.
Lovely. So do you Google yourself? If yes, why?
I haven't done it, but it seems I should do it soon.
Yes, yes, yeah. You have multiple pages, huh?
It will be like too good if I'm going to do that.
No, no, no. Next time when people ask you, who are you, what you do, is like Google me. Sometimes I also tell this. Anyways,
Interesting.
describe yourself in 3 words.
A passionate and mischievous counselor, I would say.
And a
Who
beautiful.
is very childlike. So when I'm with children, I'm completely childlike. When I'm with adults, I behave like adults.
And that's precisely the reason why children love you, because you are nobody to preach them. You understand their standpoint, their perspective, and that thing is absolutely wonderful. So
I have to cite a incident that happened. So I was doing a movement therapy with a little one, a 7-year-old, and so the parents cannot sit while the therapy is on. So I was doing a movement therapy और हम दोनों जन movement कर रहे थे. He was mirroring me and the grandmother tend to enter. I said, आप डांस कर रहे हो क्या? आप therapy नहीं कर रहे हो?
so that
You know, so such things also happens because when we are doing a therapy, it's a movement. So initially हम बहुत first session था, तो थोड़ा शांति से आराम से उसकी हिसाब से कर रहे थे. So such things also happen, and
and that is true, because if you will also start giving that typical gyan or perhaps start advising or preaching, then children would think, yeah, then what is the difference between a teacher, school, and why they have come to you? So so you have to become a child, and I think not only you are best for all the children there out there. You are so young at heart, and you're so young. You look so beautiful. I think that's the reason. You're so wishing that you always.
Thank you.
Wishing that you stay a child, and even after 10 years when I interview you, you are still the same. Wishing you all the happiness, and before we conclude, any last message you would like to give it to our listeners before we conclude this night?
Absolutely. Two things: A, believe in yourself, and B, accept yourself. Two things very important in life that will solve all your problems.
Thank you so much, Riddhi. It was pleasure having you on our show today. And once again,
thank you.
You, as I said, every statement which you spoke, which was by heart, we could feel it. And as I'm saying, always stay like this innocent and beautiful and pure like a child. Wishing you a lot of happiness and a lot of sending positive vibes to our listeners. And have a great night. And thank you, Riddhi, very much. Once again,
Thank you so much,
lovely talking to you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.